manipulating the human collective. And so for him to have, in order to get him into the place that he finds himself in now, in order to do what he came onto the earth plane to do, which is dismantling systems that have been so ingrained in the human collective that it is almost impossible to imagine that they're actually being dismantled. And the only way to dismantle them and to break them apart is to stand in the middle of them, which is what this individual, President Trump, is doing. He is standing in the middle of these massively dark systems, surrounding himself by the individuals that have been perpetuating this, controlling the human collective, playing out these massively large, dense paradigms: corruption, greed, sexual misconduct in a way that we can't even imagine, in satanic rituals, mind control in a way that would blow our minds if we actually were able to grasp it. These are all things that are literally breaking apart right now, and this individual is standing in the middle of it, beginning to break it apart. And there's no mistake that this individual has the amount of hate around him, because the individuals that are being taken down by him, the dark, dark energies or lower frequency energies that are being taken down by him, are right there next to him. They know, they see, they understand, and they're scared. And so they get louder and louder with their anger and their rage and their fear. And the way they do that is through the media and by manipulating the human collective. And so you have an individual that is hated, deeply, deeply hated. And he's okay with that because he understands his role. I've asked the Galactic Federation of Light, does this individual, does Donald Trump know who he is? And they said he isn't quite aware. So he has a purpose and a mission that is beyond anything we can understand. So he knows what he's there to do. He's aware that he is breaking apart the political system. If you listen to him, he is neither Democrat nor Republican. He is for the people. He has said it many, many times. And this is not a political video. This is a consciousness video. He's breaking apart the political system. He's breaking apart the economic system. He's breaking apart the educational system. He's breaking apart the entertainment and media systems. He's breaking apart the scientific systems. And the reason that we are having a hard time with this is because these are systems that we are used to, that we are comfortable with, that we are familiar with, i.e. when a president comes in, rarely do they go rogue. They follow the rules. They do what the president does. And that is playing in and perpetuating the dark systems and energies that we're collapsing. And the only way to collapse it is to go rogue. The only way to collapse the systems, you guys, is to step out of them and to do it differently. It doesn't matter if you like this individual or not. It's about the bigger perspective, the bigger picture. My guides have told me that this individual, and this is not easy to say, that he will be known as one of the most prolific way showers of our time because of what he is doing. This isn't about voting. It's not about your political choice. This is about ascension. And one of the unfortunate pieces about being controlled, our entire human experience and life, by the elite and by the media, which is really just a very small group of individuals that are controlling the other individuals, which are controlling the media stations, is that they have perpetuated a storyline around this individual that has created a very evil character. And I ask you to ask yourself, why? Why is there so much evil being spoken about this individual? What do they hate so much about this man, and why? Because as I started to do my research, because what the Galactic Federation of Light told me, and literally I was floored, what I started to see was a man that is deeply misunderstood by a mainstream media that is afraid of being dismantled. What I saw as I began to do my own research was that this man was putting into place executive orders that were allowing more freedom, more rights, stopping injustices, creating more ability for those that don't have rights to have them. breaking down the pharmaceutical companies so they cannot exploit us anymore. So many things that are not given to the mainstream media, to the human public. They are holding back huge amounts of information because they are trying to control how the human views this man so that they can get him out of the position he is in, so that he doesn't continue to dismantle the systems that are divinely designed to naturally be dismantled based on the ascension process. The dark or low frequencies absolutely, unequivocally have to alchemize, which means they have to be broken down. And someone as a human body, or some ones as actual physical human bodies, has to do it. Someone has to start the process of literally beginning to break these systems apart. And that because we are so controlled and manipulated, because we have an almost impossible ability to understand that we've been lied to, it will be a challenge to hold any of what I'm saying right now, perhaps. And I love you for not being able to hold it. And I love you for being able to hold it. And I love you for anything in between, because this is not easy. It is not easy for me to speak about this. It is not easy for him as an individual to be doing what he's doing. But he is playing out a role for the human collective that is so huge. It is literally shifting and pulling the dense frequencies into light. I encourage you to begin to listen deeper, look past, or look through what you have been programmed and given to digest over and over about this individual. Look at other sites that are sharing information that are not perhaps in the United States or part of the mainstream media. Perhaps just listen to him speak yourself, but listen from a different perspective. Listen from the perspective of the lightworker, way shower, and starseed that you are. Listen from the perspective of, this is consciousness shifting. This is breaking apart the polarity and divides. This is breaking apart deep, dark, ingrained ways of being in order to set us free. What is he saying? What is he actually saying out of his own mouth, not the clips that you hear? It is very challenging to hold this, and it's very challenging to hold the fact that we may have been lied to for a very long time. The humans that have been lying to us are not bad. They are just playing a role here. They're just doing what they think is best. Many of them don't even realize the web of manipulation that they are in. Many of us don't realize the web of manipulation and control that we're in, but this is what ascension is all about. This is what shifting the collective consciousness is all about. It is about literally pulling ourselves out of this manipulative, mind-controlling web of dark consciousness or lower frequency consciousness that has kept us in chains. Not critically thinking, not making choices on our own, not trusting our own energy, our own resonance, our own intuition, our own truths. Why is there so much hatred for this individual? I am not saying that this is the truth or this is the only truth. I am encouraging you to start to think about it. Start to put on your ascension goggles and look at what is actually happening. Where is this man standing in the middle of it all? What is he breaking down? Every system that has ever been in place. Why is he doing that? Because it is a massive shift in consciousness. Listen to the tiny little drops that come out of his mouth at the end of every talk that he has. You don't have to like him. The way he speaks, the words he uses, his personality. Why is he the only president that has ever spoken about sex trafficking? Ever. And sex trafficking is by far the largest darkest system that is being dismantled. Millions of young children are in this system, being tortured, and everything else that's happening. And there are millions of very powerful individuals that have partaken in this. Why is he the only president that has ever spoken about this? Why is he the only president that has spoken about the media in the way he has? And why is that bad? Why is it bad that a president doesn't trust the media? Why is that not okay? Just a question. Are we supposed to just trust everything that is given to us? When you talk about 5D consciousness, when you talk about a new earth, you are talking about stepping into your sovereignty, where your truth comes from you. It is not manipulated by individuals that have an agenda, throwing fear at the human public, at the human collective over and over and over. I encourage you to listen to what you are listening to. How much of it is surrounded in fear? Be afraid of this. More of this is happening. Don't go and do this. Be careful of this, right? How much negativity is discussed around the president? That's consciousness. This is not about a president. This is not about the name Donald Trump. This is not about Republican, right, Democrat, left. This is about a higher consciousness being who jumped into a body that we call Donald Trump, who is courageously taking on systems that no other human has been able to dismantle. Someone has to begin to dismantle these. It has to start. And he's starting it. And he is hated by many because of this. And it is being programmed in a way that allows us to hate him in order to perpetuate the systems staying in place, which he is trying to dismantle. And these systems, you guys, are shrouded in dark, dark energy. Greed, control, fear, manipulation, power. It's not about freedoms. It's not about speaking our truths. It's not about allowing us to stand up and have our rights. It's the opposite. Stay quiet. Stay submissive. Do what we say. Listen to what we tell you. Don't question. Don't doubt. Our truth is correct. You just listen. And anybody that tries to combat that or break that apart is evil, is dark, right? This is what they tell us. Is a bad person, is wrong, is stupid, on the wrong side of the tracks, whatever that may be. Why? This is just food for thought. And again, the reason I am putting this video out is not to encourage more arguments or debates. I am not saying I'm right and I am not saying I'm wrong. I'm sharing a perspective from the Galactic Federation of Light in order to begin to allow humanity to start to maybe think about it. That's it. And the resistances, triggers, anger that you may have listening to this. It's almost a joke that this is the individual, Donald Trump, is one of the individuals that is breaking apart these systems. And yet his personality and the way he has lived his life has enabled him to be able to do it. Why is he the only president that has spoken about the deep state? There's a lot of questions to start to ask. So again, this video is about neutralizing the polarity.